Salutations, Bravehearts, Urbanites, and Coach Mad Hatters. Welcome to the Star Dome. It's such a delight to share this time and space with you. I am your host, Coach T-Marie Wiggins, founder of the Coach Mad Hatters, the MMM MPJs, and the I Crimson Velvet VIPs. During today's session, I will serve as your EQ tour guide. Emotional intelligence brings the balance of our logical intelligences as well as balances out the worries that can be intertwined with our emotional intelligences so that we may synthesize and build a wholesome awareness around self. And in the world of Coach Mad Hatters, self is capital S, capital E, capital L, capital F, which stands for Sacred / Sankofa Energy Life Force. Through this life force, there are complementary components of artistic and acoustic narratology, as well as the research and developmental aspects of our astrological and zodiacal consciousness. When blended all together, it truly can serve as a helpmate to rekindle and enrich our courtships with self, alongside all the romances we have with our invisible muses. So our Story Studio 777 is now in session. So mote it be. Ashe. Today's session is brought to us by my curiosity. For the last 7 days, and if you've been hanging with me for some time now, you know that I have a thing for the number 7 and a thing for the number 13, as well as for the number 3 in very majestic situations, in divine trifecta situations, the trifold, the tripod. With that said, over the last 7 days, I have been tapping into certain lectures and certain, what I like to call, Coach Mad Hattery learning sessions through various master teachers that host their information on YouTube. All of the, let's see, all of the lectures that I tapped into will be listed inside of the keynotes, which I am now calling the Self-Scholarship Rundown. Now, what's magical about this particular what can I call it? I really want to call it a educational portal. That's what I would like to call it. And maybe I will. That feels good. Maybe that's what I'll call it. So over the last 7 days inside this highly unique educational portal, which we will call the Invitation to a New View, that I also like to call curse reversing. So, you know, with every curse, whether it is just implemented through intention or it actually has a verbal spell to it, it all has verse. It all has strings of commands that puts it into play, that fires it up, that activates it. Most often, it is cloaked inside of story, which makes it the antidote as well. The antidote. So, inside one's narrative, especially when one stands in the power to tell its own story, I've said that many times, the coaching by story phenomenon is continuing to gain its momentum. So, how can I say this? Reversing certain generational curses, in my humble opinion, will come by way of us due diligently understanding self, owning it, embracing it, process it, processing it, and then transmuting it into new narrative, and then being unapologetically stout to authentically express the lines of the new narrative. All that I have just communicated was elaborated in the inside the educational portal over the last 7 days. And when I initially stepped into these 7 days, this particular 7 day cycle, for one, I did not know it was going to be such concentrated self education going on. I had no indication that it was going to be such a robust week. And let me not say week, because we have been conditioned to believe the week is linear, and it's not. It is so fluid. So I like to say the 7 day cycle. So within my last 7 day cycle, which I am, hold on, let's just take a look at the calendar real quick. So, so it's the 21st, which reminds me the sun enters Sagittarius tomorrow. So, so, hmm, yeah, okay, so 7 day cycle, the 13th, Wednesday the 13th, to yesterday, Wednesday the 20th. That's the 7 days that I'll be speaking about in this particular session. So from Wednesday, November 13th, till yesterday, November 20th, which was the day Mercury went direct. But remember, we still have 14 days to contend with before it gains its real true, regains its true momentum. Within this 7 day cycle, oh my gosh, I'm trying to slow down so that I make sure I do not miss anything. But I also want to render the truity of the excitement that I am feeling at this very moment, which I will add has a lot to do with a marathon conversation that me and Terry had yesterday. Mentioned mentioned in a recording, maybe two recordings ago, how I was missing my best friend, and that I had not spoken to him in a while because of a little rift that we had. Now, mind you, I will reiterate that our friendship has, in my opinion, stood the test of time. And we were just speaking about this yesterday, how we've been friends for over 30 years. Now, honestly, I'll say that if you take a look at either one of us, neither one of us look like we're facing 50. Like, it is what it is. But when we speak about certain timelines, and we We bring strength to our acquaintance through the reconciliation of certain maturing factors, how we have successively grown while the other was close by. Just, it's an amazing thing. So, a great portion of this excitement has a lot to do with what was revealed within that conversation. And I'm labeling yesterday um, our very first marathon conversation ever, because we were known for infamous conversations, meaning 3, 4, 5 hours. We tapped that yesterday. What was also amazing is that some time ago, I've previously mentioned where our Coach Mad Hatter's platform had adopted the 4-day work week. So we are full force from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. on Mondays and Tuesdays, and we're off on Wednesdays, and we're full force again Thursday and Friday, with Saturday being more of a community day where we're out in out and about. We stomping that pavement, shaking hands, kissing babies. So yesterday, without me even realizing that it was an official day off, I was just dragging ass. I'm usually up between 5 and 6. And if I don't completely get up, meditation has already kicked in. Now, if I drift back off and wake back up, that's day by day. I'm not sure. I pretty much leave that to the divine and its timing. And I honestly lean into that. I honestly lean into whatever the divine puts before me and adhere to it. Now, does that mean I don't have my stubborn streak? Come on, I'm a Capricorn. Of course I do. I still struggle with that, especially seeing as that I'm in this massive lesson of maneuvering inside the wild unknown, maneuvering inside this thing called unpredictability, which poses all sorts of fears for me. So it feels like every day I'm facing a fear when my mind says, go do this, and it wasn't on the schedule, or go call this person, and it wasn't on the schedule. It wasn't on the schedule, okay? It was just, it popped, their name or something about them popped into my head, and literally the instruction, go call them, text them. And so then in that very moment, it's up to me to say, okay, I'm going to go ahead on and text them, or I'm going to go ahead on and call them. So with with that said, with me dragging ass yesterday, I still managed to get up and shower by 10 a.m. And so I get my things together because living arrangements at this moment, my bedroom also doubles as an office. So, due diligently, I get up, I get myself ready, I transpose, I transmute my bed into my desk, and I have other little tables around that will allow me to write and record and do whatever else I would do as if I was in a conventional office setting. Take the phone off of do not disturb and things like that. So when I got myself situated and was getting ready to tap into uh, what I like to call my workforce, which, like I said, it was a struggle, me not really clicking in that Wednesdays is off so I can kind of do, as I please. Amongst the amazing trinkets in the way the day unfolded yesterday is that it kept popping in my head. Like, you put in the last 2 days was concentrated, like you were focused to get some things done. Got an article written, updated the blog, So I was administratively on point. Things were getting checked off the list. So it was like, if you want to just hang loose with no concrete agenda, it's cool. Like I said, never popping in that it's Wednesday. So then I take a look at my phone, and I mentioned often that I naturally do not, on a regular basis, hone into this gadget. Now, it's close by and it's on. Most often, it's either on silent or do not disturb. Only those that are on my favorites can, like, actually chime in. I have a thing for uh, random disturbances. It has always gotten on my nerve. Like, I don't even like the house phone to ring. I don't know what it is about me, but random disturbances like throws me off. So I minimize as much as within my power to do so. So I check my phone and Terry sends a text just saying, good morning, like, hey. And I was so excited because I had him on my mind, um, like feverishly. Just what was interesting is that throughout through throughout that rough contemplation, it never gave me the instruction to call him or hit him up, or it was just me sending out instructions within the invisible realm for my guides to check in with his guides, to wish him well, send him some love, give instructions for him to have easy clarity because we're both transitioning. It's amazing how our lives mimic each other in certain spells throughout the entire time we've known each other. Um, so, however, it went. We eventually got on the phone, and there, it wasn't. How can I say this? And I'm not going to say the hours we benchmarked because that is personal. I'm still in awe at it. Um, but it was a marathon worthy, okay? And had to giggle about it when we eventually said goodnight to each other yesterday. Like, oh my gosh, like, was this like, yeah, we spoke. They, like I said, there were intervals where the um, the call got interrupted, but like within moments we were back on the phone together, and so it just went, and we unraveled so much. So in conjunction with that conversation, as well as as well as the various lectures I have been tapping into and pulling notes from, I want to say Monday night I had the urge to pull cards from the Jolly Staffers Oracle prototype, the one that I am in the mix of commissioning. And the pulling of the cards was going down simultaneously as I was tapping in to these different lectures. Didn't know at the time what was going on. I was just going with the urge to shuffle, and as they fell out, I positioned them. Ended up being 7 cards. And so I want to say Tuesday afternoon, I got the hunch to pull just regular playing cards. Um, and like I say, it still hadn't kicked in what was going on or what was unfolding. I was not doing it with the expectation of a grand message coming uh, at the end through a totally different contemplation. Had no clue. So I pulled the regular playing cards, which served me well because at the moment I'm in scholarship with understanding with the face cards of the regular playing card deck, uh, how it correlates to the tarot deck and how it could be used as a soft form of divination. And as I've mentioned before, the investment that one can have for understanding tarot and learning the language for the sole benefit of the messages that are coming from the celestial realm to oneself, as if one has just purchased a celestial cell phone. We're now the celestial realm, the unseen realms, aka the connections between one's ancestors and guardian angels and invisible muses. They now have a way to directly contact you through your celestial cell phone, aka your tarot card spreads. The messages that come from you throwing out tarot cards for yourself. So I had set the intention when the urge to pull from the Jolly Staffers deck on Monday. But they weren't, they weren't, there were no direct questions given. Like I did not say who, what, where, when, why. It was just, you know, my heart, you know what I'm frustrated with, you know what I'm up against, you know what it is that I have been doing or haven't been doing. I need answers. Even if it's not all of the answers, I've been on this road a long time. I need some answers. And that was the intention that was set. I had no idea as well that my answers was going to come in a series of days in little bits and pieces, and that by this morning I was going to quilt it all together, that was going to give me a message that was going to have me holler. And even after it all came to pass, I wondered, am I going to incorporate this in my next installment for the Journey by Heart series, or am I going to make this a totally separate? Because I threw out cards and it is an official spread associated with it, I decided to make it separate. I decided to do it separate. Please stand by for a moment. Okay, we're back. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so yes, so the seven card spread with the seven clarifiers from the regular plain deck. I took a photo of it, and it will be posted right after this commentary, so that you can take a look at what I saw and draw your own conclusions. Because hopefully, um, and intentfully, I am sending out the magnetic attraction for those whom are tapping into the tarot language immersion program for the benefit of self actualization, meaning that you are going to be your own teacher. You're simultaneously going to serve as the teacher and the student, learning tarot so that you may have your own celestial cell phone. And that when the urge comes for you to throw out a card spread, that you won't be hesitant because of your low fluency in the language. The way that I am learning tarot is in accordance to when I get the hunch to throw out cards. So when I throw out the layout, I go and tap into my various sources to understand the meaning of each card. And then I associate it with any inquiries or situations or circumstances that are unfolding presently, as well as how it could be in conjunction with what has happened or what could be getting ready to happen. Because this particular spread was specifically for me and where I'm going, it's considered a pro-personal spread, which I don't usually put out into the public domain. But because of all that was happening within the last 7 days, um, this card spread plays a lot in it, and it was just no way I could not talk about it. So we're going to get into it. But before we do, I would like to just throw out a few of the intellectual seeds and catchphrases that I had gathered from, let's see how many, 6 different lectures. Yeah, so 6 different lectures that I actually reviewed over the last 7 days, as well as 4 um, divinely feminine lecturers that are uh, well known within the circuit of either astrology, metaphysics, history, social justice, and I'll just say African American economics, for the lack of a more neutral term at the moment. So blending them all together this morning. And I had no idea what this brainstorm. I mean, this was a signature brainstorm, okay? So all that I've laid out from the moment we got on here, all of it was just brewing in my mind when I got it this morning. It was peeping in and out, and it was toggling back and forth, and this was being hooked up to that, and so yeah. This session alone, in conjunction with all of the content and context that I'm going to leave in the keynotes, truly could serve as 3 weeks worth of scholarship towards one getting to know thyself. It plays perfectly into the evolution of one's emotional intelligence and how it can blend and build a new you, a newer you, let's say that, a transmuted you as the astro alchemist. Because that's what we're ultimately doing, right? We ultimately come into this realm in flesh embodiment so that we may experience the evolution of self, so that we may respect it enough, believe in it enough to give it its safe space to evolve. Hence the title, the theme, the invitation to a new view, reversing the curse. The I would like to call it the primary, the uttermost valuable catchphrase throughout all of the educational elements involved was dancing the blend within. Imagine that. Imagine all that goes on the inside of you that no one else knows about, thoughts and feelings included, pondering, contemplations, challenges, whatever goes on that dance or bump around in your head and your heart. It's all for you. Solely, exclusively, specifically for you. How you process it and what you do with it thereafter is also all you. Now, yes, we like to say that certain people had a hand in certain things. I mean, and ultimately they do. Bottom line, and at the end of the day, you are still the custodian of your actions because we willfully ignore a lot of stuff. We know how to ignore shit. We really do. And it's not even a personality thing. Shit we don't want to deal with, we don't want to address at the moment. You know, we figure like we are saving face and keeping the peace. So we know how to overlook shit. But you can't ignore you. You can't really ignore the voice inside or the voices inside your head. And I don't think we're going to, for much longer, be able to ignore the fact that when you do hear multiple voices in your head, that is a sure sign that you are tapped in to different sets of deities. Like, it stumps me often how society, quote unquote, will say that someone is schizophrenic or they have multiple personalities or they're hearing all sorts or a variety of voices within their head, and then they go to the white coats and the white coats put them on some chemical cocktail that literally mutes the voices, which to me seems like you're muting the heavens. You're muting the deities that have chosen you to speak to. Now, yes, those that have to contend with the voices from the dark side, yeah, it's a bit unnerving. And you want to shut it off, or you want the dark sense of life to go away or dissipate. You don't want to deal with it. Why? Because we live in this ultra positive, ultra light, highly sensational aspect of reality right now. Most often, we are scared out of our boots to have to face that which is not necessarily jolly. Now, before we go any further, I have a few questions for you. It's all inside the realm of divine integration and keeping in mind that sometimes things will be easy and sometimes they won't. Have you been working to manifest something that has taken more than 10 years to materialize? If the answer is yes, how about this? I'll even say 7 to 10 years. If you have, and I'm gonna call it a dream weave for the sake of it being all encompassing. If the answer is yes, the next question is, did your faith become shaken? Did you begin to not believe in the entire thing? Did you believe or had you start to believe that your time spent was in vain and that you may have been on the wrong path and that what you thought was the best thing for you started to feel like the metaphorical dangling of the carrot? And I'll even add to this. I'll even add to it. Were there moments where you found yourself doing the process of elimination with regards to purpose and destiny, where you didn't chalk the whole thing, you just started carving off things and adding other things, switching things around, seeing if this will work or if that will work, or marrying two components to make a one and seeing if that will work. Like, take a moment or several moments, if you will, and line up uh, your historical value with your dedication with seeing something through. I also would like for you to take into account the balance ratio of your giving and your receiving. And it doesn't matter if it's personal or professional. And in that ebb and flow of that ratio, would you say that more often you was in honorarium of your authentic self or not so much? While you allowing that to churn, there are a few other things that I would like for you to keep in mind. And it goes along the lines of my analytics regarding the last 10 years of my efforts to manifest. And interestingly enough, I had to learn the hard way about respecting the process of my maturity in conjunction with divine timing, as well as the infusions brought in by other people with regards to how they thought and felt about the evolution of me. Now, I also will say, for the sake of prefacing, that my ultimate dream I have only shared with probably about a handful, and that includes my three children and my best friend. And when I say a handful, I literally mean five people. Now, the in depth, like how I truly felt about things from a day to day basis or a moment to moment basis, my best friend is the only one that has the blow by blow synthesis of how all of this was unfolding. Over the last 90 days or so, I have been fighting with the urge to be completely bummed out surrounding my expectations of what I'm figuring should have been produced by now, meaning from 2009 till now, 2019. But I will be completely transparent and say those were my expectations. And so, yes, I faltered quite a bit. And in the last 90 days, my faith has truly been tested because my optimism plummets without prior notice. One moment I will be fine and I will be in such contentment that I am on the right path, I am doing the right thing, I am connecting the right way, I am pacing it and dealing with my procrastination and my urges to want to be perfect. Like, I'm dealing with all of that, right? And within, let's just say, after lunch, I am the most wretched thing on earth. I can't get right. I can't figure this shit out. I am walking in the wild unknown, blindfolded. Life has done a doozy on me. I am the joke of the heavens, and I can't get a break. I can't get a lifeline. I None of it. None of it is falling into place that would satisfy me. Uh, Overall, I'll say overall, because once I begin to itemize certain things, which is one of the tactics that I will tap into when it gets really, really bad. Because a lot of times I be wanting to see where these shadow notions are going to take me. So I allow them to play out to the most outer fringes of wherever I am. But when it gets a bit too much, I will begin to itemize things. And one thing that I often say is that even though over the last 10 years I haven't been able to, oh, not even haven't been able to, just haven't, just have not generated the type of income that I thought was going to, or that I thought could be produced from all that I was pursuing. The layout and the unfolding of life was the complete opposite. The fucking complete opposite. When I begin to itemize, I become happy that I stuck with it. It says something about the loyalty within my character. And like I was telling Terry yesterday, I can't even break up with this dream. Like I can't even divorce it if I wanted to. Like it literally comes for me. The moment it frustrates me or I figure like I'm just gonna chalk that and do something else, like something miraculous happens and we're back together again. I don't stay mad or frustrated about anything involving um, the inner court of my dream because it strums my pain with its fingers. And of course, every day we die a little bit. So yeah, and it's killing me softly. But come on, like what we gonna do, right? We're gonna get it or we're gonna die trying. Like that's just the gist of the whole thing. Also inside of my itemizations, which I can never ignore, is all of the scholarship that I have been gathering and tapping into and fine tuning with, all of the insights that has revealed themselves to me around my own personal evolution and personal powers. How certain light bulbs clicked on in the most perfect moment. You want to talk about perfect timing? It got to a point, maybe about 24 months ago, where all I was asking for was the instances that would show me divine timing. That's all I kept asking the heavens. Show me instances of divine timing. Show me that you're here with me. I need to see living examples of divine timing. I need to see sacred synchronicity before my eyes. I need to see the back end of the details so that I know that, so that I couldn't easily dismiss it as a whatever, a fluke or, where it was. I needed it to unfold to the point where there was no denying it. And situation after situation after situation, it was being shown to me. And it's interesting too because it wasn't just being shown to me. Like others that were involved that had no idea that that's what I was challenging the heavens to show me was even pointing it out. Like, wow, that was perfect timing. Like, like look at that. Like, so it wasn't just that I was noticing it. the others were unwittingly pointing that out to me as well. So it was like a double, triple, quadruple confirmation on certain things that I had privately asked the divine to show me. What I am about to lay out now trumps all of it. And not because I don't believe in tarot, or not because I'm a novice and don't fluently speak the language just yet, but because of all that infuses or has infused the overall situation being the last 7 days. Okay, so the self scholarship rundown. The first one is a message from the universe. You are the alchemist that, let me slow down. That's the title. And it's by Divine Feminine. And she is on YouTube. And she is, well, actually, is it Divinely Feminine Tarot? I have to look it up. I'll definitely put the correct everything inside of the keynote so that you will have a sturdy foundation to launch from. So, the name of the session is A Message from the Universe. You are the alchemist. I have been identifying with the archetypal characteristics of the alchemist for some time now and striving towards it. Not that I was identifying it as it was already so, but the benchmarks by which I registered my learning efforts and my comprehension and the manifestation of the ness. The second one is through the channel of love, also on YouTube. As a matter of fact, everything that I'm getting ready to run down to you can be found on YouTube. I have spent quite a bit of the last 7 days on YouTube just binging on all sorts of lectures and uh, educational trinkets. So the channel of love posted, I want to say in the last, I want to say it's last day or two. I didn't write down the dates that they posted, but they're on there. So if you go to the channel of love, click and tap into the session that's titled "The Divine Masculine is Walking in the Footsteps of the Divine Feminine." The next one is by Unconditional Healing Tarot, and it is titled "Believe More in Yourself." The next one is by Sarah Verba, and Verba is VRBA. Sarah, SARAH. Sarah Verba every month does a session called Moon Magic. And so the latest one is titled New Moon in Sagittarius, Visions of the Future. The next session is Melanin Monday, session 85, featuring Brother Red Pill, and it's titled Change the Narrative. And that is hosted on KTL Media, which is on YouTube. There is also a KTLmedia.com that you can just bookmark because it is a wealth of information hosted on that site speaking about things like this. So if you want to uh, like solidify or fortify the fundamentals by which the contemporary metaphysical realms are gently blended with that of uh, that because that site is so amazing. Okay, I digress. And you know that I get to speeding when I get to stumbling and stuttering. KCLmedia.com. Go check it out if you want a sturdy metaphysical resource. But it's not just metaphysical. I guess I was trying to pull other words that will give you, but just go up there and check it out if you're curious, and be prepared to uh, get some. Oh my goodness! All right, go check it out. Then the next one, the last one, is through Indigo, the number 11 dash edu dot teachable.com. It is the Liberation Code Academy, aka the TLC Academy. And if you scroll down the home page, there will be a curriculum outline. Now the course itself is closed. It's full, I should say. And so you will not be able to sign up for that particular course if you're interested until next year. She reopens the semester, and I think they run quarter length to the traditional timeline of a college bound semester. But there is an outline of the the set. I think all of it is up there. Yeah, I believe all of it is up there, and it's an audio outline, and it's broken down in sessions, and it's really really good to listen to become familiar about the TLC Academy as well as the inner codes of liberation, aka being liberated through knowing thyself. And so the title of the first session that I really would like for you to hone into is Realm 1, Becoming Clear and Setting Intention, Inner and Outer Clearance Guided Meditation. So tap into the guided meditation first and listen to that before you go any further. Now, what I just presented to you is the core of what's considered this session's self-scholarship rundown. Now, the bonus material is a lecture from Dr. Julia Hare, Hare, titled No More Games. This is a classic. It rocks up there with the Brother Bobby Hemmett lectures, as well as the Sister Myra Moss lectures, the, oh my God, the Dr. Francis Cresswell scene. And, okay, so check that out. Now that one is it has such a Black Panther feel to it. I mean, I always say Dr. Julia Hare is like our divine feminine counterpart to Malcolm X. I say it all the time, as well as not Doctor, as well as Sister Shahrazad Ali. Now I don't have a particular lecture for Sister Ali, but she definitely is hosted on YouTube if you search her name, and anything that she speaks about rock. I mean, it's definitely a black girl rock sensation to it. The next is Dr. Joy DeGruy, and it's her entire website. And her catchphrase is "Be the Healing." So in all of her lectures, which she speaks about, even though it's inside the vehicle of post and is it? Yeah, post slave traumatic. Hold on, post slave traumatic syndrome. Post. Well, I can't think of it. Doesn't sound right now. Uh, I can't find it right now, and my mind is escaping me. post-traumatic slave syndrome. There it is. Oh my gosh. I was like, it's not coming out right. So even though it's inside that vehicle, it is overall all about generational healing and how we can tap into certain tools and techniques to actively reverse this curse. Like rewrite it. We rewrite that which we have been bred to believe. Remember, it all starts with the word. And when you string one word with several other words, you will get context. You'll get content, you'll get context. And from that, we are molded and contoured into this thing we like to call common sense. Whereas if one taps out of that and begin tapping into the self-study uh, omniversal law of its existence, then it will begin to see that what it was raised to believe is questionable, as well as the investments to be one's own individual will make one's senses not be so common. It's now a unique set of senses. Now, it may coincide with other individuals and their unique senses, but it's still a standalone entity all in itself. The way you view things is all an honorarium to your true self, which means there will be times when you will stand by yourself with the way that you see, think, and feel. And then there will be other times where you will be standing undivided. The balance, the ebb and flow by which we tap into or tap out of. Because remember, we're not talking in right and wrong, good and evil no more. Everything is finely unique. And one's key awareness to its uniqueness, as well as the respectful reciprocity that others also have this keen uniqueness. I think slowly but surely we will begin to seek out that which is unique in ourselves and in others and gather with that notion, allowing that to be the leading sentiment, that there is no one person leading the pack anymore. We can all show up with our individuality and offer something different that brings together something so diverse that the world has never seen before collectively. Now, yes, I do believe in the there's nothing new under the sun type of thing, mainly because I believe that the unseen world has been driving this realm like forever. I honestly, in my humble opinion, also believe that us in our celestial form will tap into embodiment so that we can come here and play. Like this, like the third dimension to me is like King's Dominion to the omniverse. And so when celestial beings want to go to King's Dominion, they are they are rendered here through the birth process, through the only physical birthing station available, and that's through the womb of the woman. And it's not through the womb of the divine feminine. Remember, divine feminine and divine masculine is sensations of energy, and both are housed inside one human, every human. Now, which one takes the lead is all contingent upon the dynamic of human being that the celestial decided to embody itself in. I became amazed when I started to learn, um, when I started to learn that I don't even know what to call it, so I'll just call it a viewpoint, since we are inside the invitation the invitation to a new view. So the viewpoint that depicted I came here in the 3D after being in the 5D, being in celestial form. I chose my parents. I chose the circumstances by which I would be born in. I chose all the lessons that I would need to learn. And it amazes me to some point, especially when I'm viewing my challenges and my faith is getting shaken. Like I sat in celestial form and I chose this and knew it was going to be hard and knew that I would suffer and still lost sight of and would still lose sight of the connection. Like would lose all my celestial senses while in third dimension embodiment, but could eventually figure it out. And that inside of my celestial being, I have the power to synchronize and leave certain clues and cues that would tap me into the bigger picture that my celestial body is already familiar with. Pretty much customized it. And I have to say, honestly, that viewpoint is the only thing that truly makes sense to me when I ask the question about purpose and when I ask the questions surrounding purpose and destiny. Why am I here? Like nothing else makes sense. Nothing under any religious umbrella makes sense. Nothing else makes sense. This viewpoint also allows me to respect the majestic presence of others, even if they have not crossed over the threshold of the quote unquote woke as fuck, even if they cannot be readily um, characterized as conscious. Because if we really think about it, what does that mean, really? What does it truly, truly mean? Because there's so many levels, there's so many nooks and crannies to consciousness. The vast plane and summits involved in this thing we call magical realms, mystical realms, the woo woo, the unseen realm is infinity. And I remain curious to how many of us actually work and live with the ongoing curiosity that all sorts of unseen beings will manifest in human form so that they can partake in this realm. Like, do we really know what it means to speak fluent spirituality? Like, is there a language for it? Like that language that encompasses the awareness that the unseen realm still runs the show, as well as the unseen entities that would like personification comes through the physical womb of the female human. That's the only way you come in here in human form. You have to go through the birth canal. And I mean, and of course, that's not getting all technical with cesareans and all that other kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, and test tubing and, the whole bioengineering and all that. Okay. Because that feels like a treacherous rabbit hole. And I don't know enough to venture down that just yet. So I'm going to stick over here to the surface over here and say that it still covers the context when I say that all humans are through the female human. And I know that that was so choppy, but yeah, I'm grasping right now. So, for the lack of better terms and more eloquency, hey, that's what I offer up. So, let's get to the cards. Let's get to the card layout. Now, with all I preface with all of that, we can go into the card layout. What I am hoping is that even if you are not completely familiar with tarot, that what I want to say, that you become a little bit curious to just do a rough glance so that you'll understand uh, the remainder of this conversation. Yes? Okay, so, and I'm wondering how I should do this. So maybe that's what I'll do. Okay, so I will tell you each Jolly Rancher. I got candy on the brain. Each Jolly Staffer card, and then I'll tell you the card, the regular playing card that clarified it. So card one, the Jolly Rancher. Damn, I said it again. The Jolly Staffer Oracle card. Card number one is the 4 week weekly reader journal challenge. And the first thing that you must do is find out or establish if you are a morning person or an evening person. Then, once you establish that, then inside your master journal, you track some of the things that is done during the identified time and contemplate your energy levels and if you feel better tackling certain things during that time, and then make adjustments accordingly. So, I am a morning person. So, usually I get most of my writing, my editing, my recording, like anything that requires me to produce something that I could be perfectly proud of, I usually tackle before noon. Now, with that said, let's see here. The clarifier. Now remember, I set the intention, the beginning of the week, in conjunction with just how low I was feeling, um, trying to adjust my expectations under the weight that I've been at this a long time. And I'll just say this real quick. And quite honestly, it's not that I have not succeeded in things. And it's not even that I have not produced things. On behalf of the story.blogspot.com, as well on on the blog, you can link out to my scribed page as well as the YouTube page. But if you found a YouTube page, eh, you don't necessarily need to go to the blog to find a YouTube page. But regularly, and you, of course, everything is time stamped and date stamped, so you can see uh, the um, consistency by which I have been posting and what it is that I've uh, been researching and discovering and developing. And so it's all documented. It's all documented, even though the YouTube page is fairly new. But the blog is 8 years old, if I'm not mistaken. And I want to say my scribed page is about 5. So there is older historical content that's populated, good content. And I know on my scribe there are some pieces that 4, 5, 6, 7 pages long. just rolling out uh, commentary and certain lifestyle chronicling while I was learning all of the things that I was learning. So in the last couple weeks, I have been so dismissive about all that I have actually done and all of which has been discovered and been absorbed and has been uh, playing as a main component of my maturity and all of that. Like, just because I am not where I financially wanted to be, I wanted to like just throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's what I was attempting to do. So, the clarifier, the regular card clarifier, is the Ten of Clubs. And in the tarot world, it is the Ten of Wands. And so, let's see. The resource by which I gathered the summary for each is from labyrinthos.co. So that's LABYRINTHOS.co. And it's all about tarot. They sell decks. Just go check it out. It is really a wonderful site. They also have um, uh, I think they just, well, no, let's say this. They also have complete profiles for all, what is it, 72, 73 cards in the tarot deck. Very comprehensible, very user friendly. Um, and they have it listed from the major arcana to the minor. And so you can click on each one and it gives you a full profile of that particular card. So I pulled just some highlights from each profile in association to the card layout. All right, okay. So the Ten of Wands is a fire elemental. It is an association with Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. And so the Ten of Wands depicts the carrying of a heavy burden bundled in the form of wands, which represents wands representing the energy of movement, creativity, and invention, often related to career, charm, desires, and sense of purpose. The Ten of Wands is an indication of struggle transmuting into success and onto harvest, nearing one's desired destination. Also indicates a great deal of responsibility upon one's shoulders, but are completing the circle of struggle. Finally, overcoming many obstacles. Yes, finally overcoming many obstacles. Efforts are being rewarded, which could propel you into another world of challenges. Now, labyrinthos.co also has 3 keywords for when the card is upright and 3 keywords for when the card is in reverse. I decided to take those terms and have them serve as the vocabularics element of this layout. So for the Ten of Wands upright, the vocabularics catchwords is accomplishment, responsibility, and burden. So that's when it's in upright. That's when it's in what would be called when it's in its positive energy. Remember, everything has a flip side. Everything has a light side. Everything has a so-called dark side. So when the card is in reverse, it has the characteristics of can't delegate, overstressed, burnt out. The next card out is the Pro Personal Inner Consultation Affirmation. I release myself from blank. And that you journal all your keynotes involving whatever it is that you are releasing yourself from and how you are progressing and doing such. The clarifying card from the regular playing deck is the King of Wands, which is a fire elemental, Aries, Sagittarius, Leo. The King of Wands represents pure energy, depicting a divine masculine with its hand upon a blossoming wand, which represents creativity and life's passion. The king's throne and cape are decorated with a salamander and the lion, which are symbols of fire and strength. The salamander that is biting its tail represents the infinity as well as the overall drive to move through obstacles. The King of Wands looks forward to all sorts of different challenges, for he gets a natural adrenaline rush associated with solving problems. And the vocabularies for the King of Wands in the upright is big picture, leader, and overcoming challenges. When it's in the reverse, it is impulsive, overbearing, and holds on to impossible expectations. And I will give just a little bit more commentary for each card and its clarifier once I outline all of the cards. So the next set of cards is the Coach Mad Hatter's Challenge. Engage in an immaculate conversation with someone special. You can only speak about the Shiro Hero's journey, legacy building, and temetnos, which is to know thyself. And the qualifying card is the Queen of Pentacles, which is of Earth Elemental and is associated with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The Queen of Pentacles depicting a beautiful woman sitting on a decorated throne holding a golden coin. Surrounding her are beautiful blossoms of trees and green floral gardens, which ties her closely to nature and abundance. The rabbit symbolizes the caution to be careful where we leap when we are chasing success. The vocabulary is associated with the Queen of Pentacles in the upright is practicality, creature comfort, and financial security. In the reverse is self-centeredness, jealousy, and smothering. Next card out is the Coach Mad Hatter's Challenge. Attend a lecture or workshop regarding something you treasure or desire to know more about. Journal all keynotes and self-discoveries. The qualifying card is the Eight of Wands, which is a fire elemental associated with Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. The Eight of Wands depicting 8 blossoming wands that are traveling at maximum speed. The clear sky represents that they are the clear sky represents that there's likely nothing that will stand in its way that will, let me slow down. The clear sky represents that there is likely nothing that will stand in the way of these making it to their destination. The wands also appear like they are about to land, which signals the end of a long journey. Vocabularies associated with the Eight of Wands in the upright is rapid action, movement, and quick decisions. In the reverse, it's panic, waiting, and slowing down. Next card out is of Pro Personal Study, Coach Mad Hatter's Tarot Treasure Trove, Major Arcana, the Empress, and the qualifying card is the Seven of Pentacles, of Earth Elemental, associated with Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The Seven of Pentacles depict the dry. I'm sorry. The Seven of Pentacles depicting the divine timing associated with long-term labor and seasonal harvest. Also, the admiring of fruits and blossoms that were previously sown. Following the Six of Pentacles, which refers to the end of financial or material hardship. If you have been putting in time and effort in your work, it signifies that your efforts are paying off and they are going to pay off in the near future. If you are seeking to invest, the Seven of Pentacles suggests that you are ready to put in a lot of effort, time, and work into whatever you want to achieve. Vocabulary associated with the Seven of Pentacles is hard work, smart work, perseverance, and diligence. In the reverse is working without results, distractions, and a lack of rewards. Next card out is the Master Journals Challenge, and it's to track inward personal commentary. The story that you are telling yourself, the story that I am telling myself. And it's quite interesting because the only reverse card in this spread is the clarifier for this one, which is the Ace of Cups. It's in reverse. The only reverse, which is of water elemental, associated with Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. And I'm only giving the zodiac for the support of the education within the tarot cards and its characteristics themselves, so that you'll understand what it is associated with. Because each and every tarot card is associated with a zodiacal archetype. The Ace of Cups being in reverse depicts the water pouring out of the cup, ultimately rendering it empty, signifying the gift of water, aka emotions, are being wasted. Seeing the Ace of Cups upside down during your reading means you have been enduring emotional instability or pain for some time. And since the cups also represent creativity, you may also be experiencing a creative block of sorts. And where the waters of inspiration once overflowed, they have now dried up. The vocabularies for the Ace of Cups in reverse is, well, let me say this. The vocabularies for the Ace of Cups in the upright is new feelings, spirituality, and intuition. In the reverse is emotional loss, block of creativity, and emptiness. Okay, the last card out is a pro-personal inner consultation, affirmation, releasing rituals regarding inner war trauma. And when it says releasing rituals, that means the activation of it, and by you engaging in it, the energy as a result will be released so that it may tap into that which is inner war trauma, meaning conflict and indecision and vacant self-esteem, or even lowering, depleting, plummeting self-esteem. judgment, wrong judgment, hasty judgment. Uh, yeah, you know, the list goes on and on and on and on. The clarifying card for the last card out is the Ten of Pentacles of Earth Elemental, of Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. The Ten of Pentacles depicting an aged man inside of an archway leading into a great estate. He's the head of his family, surrounded by younger loved ones, and he wears a robe that is decorated with the moon crescent and the moon crescent decorated with moon crescents and baked grapevines, indicating the joining of spirit and matter. The Ten of Pentacles deal with permanence and satisfaction. The card speaks to everything you have put your efforts into for a long time will pay off in the future. It suggests that everything will work out in the end, for you have always kept the long-term picture in view, choosing to take no shortcuts. Your legacy is sure to stand for quite a long time to come. This card arrives with the relief that the path to get here has been filled with setbacks and challenges, making this point of the journey even sweeter. And I promise you, I didn't make any of this up. And even though I had pulled the clarifiers and put them, I still had not known what each card meant until this morning. Remember, I'm learning them as I pull them. So I had never pulled these to be uh, pulling the commentary, putting it in my journal, and grouping them in association with intentions that I had put forth. So this morning, when it all stitched together, and I was able to get a more broader view, yeah, man, I became so excited. If this didn't speak to the wavering of my fate, to be completely honest, and how it is that I had to begin to rearrange my expectations and had to be patient enough with the divine process to know that, yes, I am on the right track. No, all that has taken place prior to this very moment was not in vain, and that I must keep going. Even if navigation, my inner navigation has to recalibrate and I have to take a right or a left. Thus far, with all its setbacks and challenges, has been on purpose. Which is a perfect segue for me just to elaborate truly on the Ace of Cups in reverse and how it's associated with the Jolly Staffers card of tracking my interpersonal commentary, that which is being what I speak to me, how I speak to me, what it is that I am saying to me. Because if my commentary towards myself was on point, then there would be no card in the spread in reverse. And so it sticks out to me to tell me that I really need to hone into and pay better attention with care that which I am telling myself, what it is that I am saying to myself. And I have to say, um, honestly, still by habit, I will replay all the things that I figured was not perfect or downright hideous. My Virgo moon and Virgo rising makes me want to have things be doubly perfect. Like I double cross T's and double dot I's. And what makes it so interesting is still be mistakes all through that shit. And I know that I'm being challenged to loosen some of that up, which is another reason why I took the spell check off of all my stuff. So if it's anything that you come across that I have written and there are typos in there, most often it is on purpose because I am rigging myself to not have to have everything so perfect all of the time, because it plays into certain bouts of procrastination. That if I want certain things to be a certain way, that I don't move until I am at least within 10%. Oh, no, hold on. Leaving 10%. So within 90% of the zone. Like I have to be at least 95%, 95% satisfied with anything that I release. And so I'm challenging myself with that. Trust me when I say, for me to be 75% satisfied and I put it out into the stratosphere anyway, yeah, some type of contention going on. I'm having a moment. And so I've been weaning myself off of perfection. I'm trying to get off of perfection's tit. Trying to get off the tit of perfection. Which plays a great deal into how I speak to myself about achievement and accomplishment and my, ability to successively transmute that which I desire to manifest. Incorporating the truth that some things just take time. Terry asked me yesterday, he said, so, and it wasn't even really a question for real. It was more so an acknowledgement of awareness to the effects of the divine could be doing you a favor right now by not allowing all of it to, like be readily available, meaning all of it, meaning the expectations within a dreamed manifest. And that it could be a few more things that need to take place, need to happen, that will prepare you for it. Because he asked me, he said, so, and we were really like bouncing off of each other. But it was like, okay, so let's just say we actually get to the point where we could step over the threshold into the dream. Then that actually transmutes an entire new realm of challenges, because now you have to engage the dream, polish the dream, you know, spruce up the dream. And then you have to invite people to the dream so that you may keep it afloat, because the dream it has expenses. Dreams don't just manifest and then all of a sudden they like take care of themselves. Well, that's not true. Some. And the type of dream that I am pursuing is going to require me to, yeah, there will be no days off. I might be able to get an hour or two in here, there, or be able to carve out some personal time within the mix of certain weeks. But all of that, like off on the weekends and holidays, no, those will be the days when my dream will be at its heightened. During the weekends and holidays is when, yeah, things will be moving and shaking inside my dream. And just by him highlighting that, just that alone, it instantly depleted my worries. It instantly rearranged my view and what it is that I could possibly say to myself to keep the momentum regenerating. Cause I'm telling you, it was unraveling. Like the stitch was coming out of my endorsement for this thing I call my ultimate dream. I was getting ready to chuck that shit again. I was about to say, you know what? It has been 10 fucking years. I am fucking tired. And, yeah, so he brought me back into the purview that says, yes, it's been a long road. Yes, you have had to deal with some shit. Yes, you've sacrificed a lot. Yes, you put everything on hold and everybody on hold. Yes, you spent the majority of this 10 years alone in front of some book with tons of highlighters, ink smudges. Yeah, all of it was not in vain, and it is preparing you for what's ahead. And then I even had to click into the recollection that I had just did a recorded segment not too long ago, leading with the question of what if everything that has happened to you, good, bad, or indifferent, was to prepare you for what you ultimately want? Yeah, I've been so bummed out for the last couple of weeks. I didn't even remember about that shit. I was like, oh yeah, I did do a segment about that, didn't I? Oh my goodness. Yes, honey. So now I'm just going to toggle back and forth. I'm not going to go more so in order of the way the cards came out because we are going to we just going to hang out for just a little while longer and just unpack this before we close out, right? So, one thing that I instantly noticed is that away from the Ace of Cups in reverse, only thing on the board is Pentacles and Wands. That's the only thing on the board. And so that made me feel some kind of happy because it told me that if I would tidy up feeling so bad about not having my particular expectations met, that there is all sorts of creativity and indication of a virtuous future. And that there is a king and a queen on the board, meaning, and this will be a bit personal, but it did tell me uh, that I won't necessarily have to be inside this dream alone. And so that made it quite tantalizing because I've been solo for a rather long time. And when I say solo, meaning not having an official beau, like one that you the ride or die, the hang with, the yin and yang. When I see you, I see him type of thing. It was, yeah, had been solo for, oh my gosh, how long have I been solo? Officially solo like 15 years. Now that doesn't mean, come on, let's keep things in perspective. I've had my romp around moments, but like to really have someone be by my side that's officially my exclusive plus one, yeah, it's been 15 years. And after I began pursuing the evolution of my dream, then it was really like, well, you're going to have to give me some type of indication that you are capable of not only building enterprise, but preserving legacy, because that's where I am now. I am inside of the zone that says I am to become one of legendary blueprints. I even told Terry yesterday, I said, whoever fucking told me to dream my greatest dreams, I don't know who and what lecture told me that shit, but I latched onto that shit and now it feels like I am in the twilight zone because my dream might be way too big for my goddamn britches. And I'm a big girl. Like I got big britches off the break. And this dream seems like is like quadrupling that times two to the second power. Like telling an Imagineer to big to dream its biggest dream. And so it's like was feeling so much like I got sucked into a dream that was like galactical. And I'm like this one little pebble in the sand, you know. So yeah, it was intimidating at times. And so when I start when just to honing into each card and its qualifiers, and that there's a king and queen on the board, and that everything else is wands and pentacles and a reverse heart. And just by looking at the qualifiers alone, it gives me the indication um, that not only will I um, increase my chances of stepping into dream with my divine counterpart, that it will be full of cups runneth over if I am able to reverse the way I say things to myself, or how I reaffirm or confirm or initiate or persevere moving forward. Because, of course, you have to keep moving forward. And that it's okay that it's okay for my expectations to become fluid, and that they are subjected to ebbs and flows just like anything else that is enriched with energy and rely on energy sources for its existence. And having the Seven of Pentacles and the Ten of Pentacles on the board with the Queen of Pentacles, like that's Capricorn Nation. So I feel very represented in my understanding of it serving as the rebuttal to my heartfelt frustrations, as well as the the celestial response to all the intentions that was hovering over this before I knew that it was going to be this, as well as the way that the answers unfolded and quilted itself into this nice comfy blankie this morning. So like it took, if we're going to talk timeline, it took, what's today, Thursday, 4 days, 4 days, which is not a bad turnaround when we talking about signs. But I'm on the hunt for them. Like I'm on the hunt for the hidden signs and symbols and everything, even in commercials and cartoons and yeah, music that's playing in a car that's riding by. Like I'm on a, yeah, yeah, might be a bit obsessive with it, but I'm decoding. I'm a novice decoder. So yeah, things will get feverish at from time to time. So yeah, that is the seven card spread. Quite amazing actually. I'm still flying on this very unique sense. Like my senses feel like they've been kissed. Um, and I'm talking about one of those long, elaborate type of kisses that just make you feel all ooey gooey. Rambling Mike, ooey gooey, soft and chewy. So yes, this is where we are. I'm going to marvel in this card spread. Um, for one, it's an indication that I am moving along nicely uh, within my comprehension of having my own source of divination. And I'm also happy that I have begun to tap into understanding how to interpret just regular playing cards. So now I know I'll never look at a regular playing card deck the same again, because when I see clubs, I see wands. When I see diamonds, I see pentacles. When I see hearts, I see cups. When I see, what's the last one? Spades, I see swords. And so now it's just a matter of me sensing it and then going to look it up to see if, in fact, it has anything to do with what's going on and unfolding and whatever have you. So I believe we're going to wrap it up here, folks. As I mentioned earlier, I will put all of the lectures that played a part in having me better understand where I am and what's going on. I will incorporate all of those in the keynotes, as well as right after this audio within this same session, you will see the photo of the 7 card layout. I'm trying to think of anything else that is coming to mind. Oh yeah, so pre-orders for Coach Mad Hatter's t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts. Now, of course, when the summer was unfolding, we had the expectation that we would have a summer collection. But it's okay because um, expectations are, like I said, expectations are now fluid. So we are going to roll out a very short collection for um, probably closer to the end of the year, going into the beginning of the year. And then we will really get on the bandwagon once springtime kicks in. We're going to have a full springtime collection of Coach Mad Hatter's gear, or at least we are striving for that. Amongst some other things, also the Astro Artisan 101 7-week pilot program, self study, and it is asynchronous, meaning it's a self learning paced environment. You learn as you go. You have no deadlines when to submit things or none of that. It really is, you receive the content, you engage the content, and you discover and pull information for self. You don't have to report back to us to say that you did it or you didn't do it. Mainly because we are retraining ourselves out of this conventional work week per se. We are going and defying the odds of a 5-day work week with only 2 days to yourself. And how we manage this thing called time and what we devote our time and attention, especially our undivided time and attention. And so, what I'm hoping is that the momentum between Coach Mad Hatters will escalate in obedience, where we will be 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Monday and Tuesday, off on Wednesdays, 7 a.m., 7 p.m. Thursday and Friday, and be out in the field meeting and greeting and being of a more community nature, even if we are learning within that environment on Saturday. And I chose it to be that way mainly because we can tap into Saturn's energy on Saturday, and it really can boost our efforts for academics, especially academics, self-based academics. I mean, you are going to devote Saturday to either, you can be solo or in community, But the ultimate goal is everyone on scavenger hunts to better know themselves. So if you like to go to the museums, you're going to dedicate Saturday to dive into Saturn's energy so that Saturn may reveal to you the best day ever at the museum. More things will pop out to you and be highlighted, mainly because Saturn is going to support your intent of what you are doing with its energy. Okay, so I'm not going to, I digress. Because you know I'll get to preaching. You know I'll get to preaching. So, okay, I'll get to rambling or doing some other things. So that's the gist of it. And I don't think I have anything more to say other than if you want t-shirts or you want to enroll in the 7 weeks, get a hold of me. And I do not put my contact information, it's not readily available, but if you're paying attention, you'll catch it. It's in there. Come on, I'm the Mad Hatter. It's all about timing and what you're paying attention to. The Mad Hatter drops clues all over the place. There's really no mystery with the Mad Hatter if you're paying attention and you are actively engaged in seeking the clues and the cues. So, I will make myself available to those that are interested, and I mean seriously interested. And yes, there is a financial investment in conjunction with all of them. Of course, you know you will have to buy your t-shirt. But as far as study curriculum, it is available to be broken up, all depending on what it is that you are engaging with. Now, I have to say, the 7 week course, it is half due at sign up and then half due midway. So by the time you are certified after the 7 weeks, which you will be certified under the Coaching Mad Hatter's banner, you will be gaining your you will be collecting your dots. You will be connecting and collecting your self scholarship dots to become fully certified as a Coach Mad Hatter. And it's not an easy task. I know everyone think that the Coach Mad Hatter is, full of fluff and just sensational, full of hoopla. But trust me, it's quite a bit of authenticity that goes into the Mad Hatter to be the way that he or she is, standing in that truth unapologetically. Kiss it or diss it, right? All right, I've had a good time. This was good. This was really really good. I think I may hold off on the next installment for the Journey by Heart, uh, but I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. But I hope you have enjoyed engaging in this as well as I have rendering it. And until next time, I wish you well.